You're listening to the One Man Show Network. Welcome to the MMA Fight Picks Podcast with your host, Aaron Weinbaum.
Hey kids, and welcome to the MMA Fight Picks Podcast. Today I am using the mobile setup, so it's not probably going to sound as great as it normally does. We are going to pick fights for the upcoming UFC Atlantic City, which takes place tonight. Actually takes place in just a little over 40 minutes on UFC Fight Pass. So, hey, I got a Periscope listener. What's going on? I'm streaming on both Periscope and Facebook Live. Another Periscoper. Awesome. Oh, cool. So, I'm going to pick the main card, starting off with my favorite fight, my most anticipated fight, because friend of the podcast, Aljamain Sterling, is taking on Brett Johns. What can I tell you about these guys? Man, Aljamain was stringing up 2 in a row, and then he had that nasty knockout with the knees to Marlon Moraes. So, that shit happens. He got caught. I mean, he looked like a world beater the fight before that with Renan Barão. And then he got knocked out terribly. I mean, he will even joke about himself. He dabbed, if you will. And then you have Brett Johns, who is undefeated, 3 fights in the UFC. His last one was just a nasty, out of nowhere calf slicer to Joe Sato. Man, I got to go with my man Aljo. He's a friend of the podcast. Here's the deal with Aljo. He will flip you on your head, and then he will flip your house. So, Aljo, I'm picking him. Round 1, foreclosure. How about that? Next fight up on the card, we have David Branch taking on Thiago Santos. I actually got to see David Branch fight Luke Rockhold in UFC Pittsburgh. Actually, I did not. I was there. I got food poisoning, and I had to miss that last fight, the last 2 fights. And I did see it on the TV, though, same night. Man, I don't know. David Branch, he was very well known in World Series of Fighting. He came over here. He was a 2-division champion there, I should say. And he was on a winning streak. I mean, just an absolute tear in the middleweight division. He beat Jaco in his UFC debut. Not a super impressive win. It was a split decision. And then he lost. He tapped the punches to Luke Rockhold, and a lot of people gave him trouble for that. But I don't know. I mean, he knew he was in a bad position. He didn't take any more damage than he should have, so he got himself out of there. Then Thiago Santos. He has won 4 in a row. The big win, last big win, was Anthony Smith, who's actually moving back up to light heavyweight, and he was a big dude. Man, I don't know. My instinct says David Branch just slipped a little bit with Luke Rockhold. Luke Rockhold is a big guy for the division. He cuts a lot of weight. And, he was winning, I believe, in the first round against Luke Rockhold. So, I'm going David Branch. I don't know method of victory, but I'm picking David Branch on this, for sure. And just a little inside scoop with Aljamain, that pick before, I have it on good authority that he's doing well, he trained well, and the weight cut went well. So, just something else. Ooh, next up, Justin Willis taking on Chase Sherman. All right, here's the deal. Justin Willis doesn't even have a Wikipedia page, and he is undefeated. No, I'm sorry, he has 2 losses, 1 loss professionally, but he's never really beaten anyone I've heard of, I guess. But he still has 2 wins though in the UFC: James Mulholland and Alan Crowder. And then you got Chase, who's been a little hot and cold. Social media game is strong though, and he follows yours truly. So how can I pick against him? His last, it's another deal with these heavyweights. You get caught with a punch, you usually lights out, and he lost Shamil Abdurakhimov. Oh, please correct me, somebody out there, please. I got Chase Sherman, and I think he's He's good. He's savvy. He's good for the division. And I'm rooting for the Vanilla Gorilla taking it over Big Pretty. But, props for the nickname, though. Props for the nickname. And this one could be a main event. They're doing this over again. Cub Swanson, Frankie Edgar. Frankie was doing well. He actually had a title shot lined up with Max Holloway. Max Holloway gets hurt. In comes Brian Ortega. Now, Brian Ortega absolutely stunned him, knocked him out cold. First time he's ever been stretched out. UFC 222. And this is just in the very, very first round. Frankie didn't have to take that fight. He could have waited for Max Holloway. Things could have went differently. But, before that, he was on a 2-fight tear. Jeremy Stevens and Yara Rodriguez. And, Jeremy Stevens looked much bigger and tougher in there. And then Yara, was coming off that stoppage with BJ Penn. But, man, I don't know. This could be too soon for Frankie to come back. He just got knocked out cold in March. It's like a month and a half ago. Then you got Cub Swanson, who also had his last loss against Ortega via a different method. He was guillotine choked. I remember watching that fight. I remember he got the choke, readjusted, got it again. At least he made it to round 2. But I think it's too soon for Frankie to come back, even though Frankie absolutely made him pay. I remember that last fight, man. Frankie just beat him to death. But I think this time, this fight could be for Cub. This is too soon for Frankie to come back. Getting knocked out cold a month and a half. I could look stupid the next day and say, Frankie takes this fight, he wins, whatever. But my instinct is Cub Swanson. And probably knockout. Just too soon. All right, main event of the evening. The Motown Phenom, Kevin Lee, or as Al Iaquinta likes to call him, the Motown Nerd, taking on Edson Barboza. Now, this is an interesting fight because Kevin Lee missed weight. Kevin Lee barely made weight the fight before that, which was, of course, against Tony Ferguson. He looked good for a little bit. He had staff. He actually made the weight that last fight. But he got choked out by Tony. He made it at least to the third round. He took Tony down a few times. And, before that, he was on an absolute tear, a 5-fight win streak. But you gotta wonder when they don't make weight. He says he ran out of time, so he didn't have time to cut any more weight. Or was it one of those deals that took so much out of him and he's gonna come in absolutely exhausted? 5 days before he tweeted something like, the body can only take so much. I don't know if that's related to his weight cut or his training or what. And then you got Edson Barboza, who lost to the other side of what was going to be for the championship, which was not. He lost to Khabib Nurmagomedov, a decision, but my God, he absolutely got his face beat in that entire time. I don't know. I like Edson Barboza. I think he's quite a striker, but Khabib kind of showed the blueprint on how to beat him. And man, I don't know. I think Kevin takes him down. If he's healthy, he takes him down, and he neutralizes his game just like Khabib did. So, weight cut aside, I think Kevin Lee has this. I hope this was just a fluke. This is the first time he ever missed weight. I hope he makes weight next time. And, yeah, man, I don't like to make jokes about guys missing weight, but his walkout song could be "What Would You Do for a Klondike Bar?" No. But, yeah, I go Kevin Lee, and I hope the next time he fights, there's a 165-pound division or a 160-pound division or, whatever. So, that's it, man. Those are my picks. Enjoy the fight. They start in just under 30 minutes here on UFC Fight Pass. So that would be 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. I don't know about hippie California time. So, until next time, this is Aaron Weinbaum with the MMA Fight Picks podcast saying shalom.
Please remember to support the podcast by visiting the affiliate links on AaronSaysWhat.com.
Are you looking for a permanent home for your podcast? Well, Spreaker can do it all. Spreaker will give you your own RSS feed that you can submit to other platforms, including iTunes. Spreaker's mobile app will let you record from your smartphone, or you can use their web-based console with everything you need to record. Their podcasting plans include being able to host multiple shows at no extra charge. Got a YouTube channel? Spreaker's got you covered. You can effortlessly upload your podcast audio to your channel. You can even move your current podcast to Spreaker without losing any of your iTunes subscribers. Try any plan 30 days for free using promo code ASW.